Virgo, if you clicked on this reading for August, it's because you already feel it that heavy, undeniable shift in the energy. They are going to chase you now, and they are deeply regretting how they hurt you in the past. But honestly, the twist here is that by the time they finally break their silence and come crawling back, you're going to be so unbothered and elevated that they will be the ones terrified of losing you all over again. The power dynamic has completely flipped. Before we dive into this massive karmic shift, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. And please like, subscribe, and share this energy to claim it. Let's get into it, Virgo. Listen to me, because the spirit is showing me such a vivid, intense picture of your energy right now. And I just need you to take a deep breath and let this sink in as we are stepping into this powerful August window. And the universe is literally screaming your name. I'm seeing the 888 angel number flashing in my mind's eye, which is the ultimate symbol of karmic completion, infinite abundance, and cycles finally coming to an end. For the longest time, you've been stuck in this loop with this person, feeling like you were running on a treadmill, giving and giving but never actually moving forward. But honestly, that loop is breaking right now. The reason this massive shift is happening, the reason they are suddenly feeling this intense pull to come back, is entirely because of what you did. You pulled back, you detached, you stopped chasing. And I'm not gonna lie, the moment you stopped rowing the boat by yourself, the entire current of this connection reversed. Let's talk about what you've been through, because I need to validate the absolute emotional exhaustion you've been carrying. As a Virgo, you don't just love with your heart, you love with your entire being. You love through acts of service, through deep practical devotion, through analyzing their needs and trying to fix the things they can't fix themselves. You were the anchor in this connection. When their life was chaotic, you were the one organizing the pieces. When they were emotionally unavailable or confused, you were the one holding the space, being patient, and giving them the benefit of the doubt. But the wound here is so deep, because they took your profound loyalty for granted. They mistook your patience for weakness. They thought that because you were willing to work through the hard things, you would just endlessly tolerate being undervalued. They gave you silence when you gave them your whole heart, and they gave you breadcrumbs when you were serving them feast. It broke something inside of you, didn't it? I can feel how much your overthinking mind was torturing you during these silent periods. You were analyzing every single text, every single interaction, wondering what you did wrong, wondering if you were too much or not enough. You were carrying 100 of the emotional weight of this connection, and it was draining your nervous system. You were literally pouring from an empty cup trying to water a dead plant, hoping that if you just loved them hard enough, they would finally bloom. But the validation I need you to hear right now is this: you did nothing wrong by loving deeply. Your capacity to love, your loyalty, your willingness to see the best in them, that is a beautiful, rare gift. The problem was never your love. The problem was that you were giving it to someone who didn't have the emotional maturity or the spiritual awareness to receive it. You were offering them a level of peace and safety that they were actually intimidated by, even if they didn't realize it at the time. And then came the turning point. The shift. There was a specific moment, maybe not even a dramatic argument, but just a quiet, internal realization within your own soul where you just stopped. You looked at the dynamic, you looked at how you were being treated, and your spirit said, no more. You didn't pull back out of manipulation. You didn't do it to teach them a lesson or to make them miss you. You pulled back because you were genuinely, soul level exhausted. You just detached. You took all that beautiful, analytical, nurturing Virgo energy and you redirected it back onto yourself. You started focusing on your own healing, your own routine, your own peace. And this is where the magic happens, Virgo. When you finally let go of the rope, they suddenly felt the burn. The silence from you became deafening to them. For months, maybe even longer, they were used to your energy being a constant, reliable presence in their field. They knew that if they reached out, you'd be there. They knew you were the safe landing pad. But when you went quiet, when you stopped checking in, when you stopped trying to bridge the gap, it created a massive energetic vacuum. At first, their ego probably told them, oh, they'll come back. They always do, but as the days turned into weeks, and your silence remained unbroken, that ego started to crack. The absence of your energy became a mirror, forcing them to look at the reality of what they had lost. They started to feel the coldness of a life without your warmth, and honestly, it terrified them. You need to understand that your withdrawal was the catalyst for their awakening. They didn't fully understand the magnitude of what you brought to the table until the lights got turned off. It's like the sun and the moon energy, they were so used to your light shining on them that they forgot how to navigate in the dark. Now that you've stepped back into your own shadows to do your own healing, they are the ones left stumbling around, realizing how much they relied on your guidance, your love, and your stability. The universe stepped in and said, if you won't value this person when they are right in front of you, I will remove them from your sight until you learn the lesson. And that is exactly what happened. Your detachment wasn't a punishment for them. It was a protection for you, and ironically, it was the exact wake-up call they desperately needed. Virgo, I need you to really look at yourself right now, because the person you are in this August energy is not the same person who was crying over their mixed signals a few months ago. Something profound has happened in your spirit. You've stepped into this deeply magnetic, mysterious, and grounded energy, and honestly, it's radiant. You are no longer the anxious, waiting Virgo who is constantly checking their phone, analyzing every single word, or trying to decode their silence. You've redirected all that beautiful, meticulous, nurturing energy back onto yourself. You've been tending to your own garden, focusing on your routine, your peace, your financial stability, and your spiritual growth. And because of that, you are glowing with a quiet, unshakable confidence. You don't even have to try to be mysterious. Your privacy and your boundaries have naturally created an aura around you that is both alluring and completely untouchable. And let me tell you, they feel it. Oh, they absolutely feel it. Even if you haven't posted a single thing on social media, even if you haven't spoken a word to them, your energetic frequency has completely shifted. Energy doesn't lie, Virgo. When you stop vibrating at the frequency of lack, longing, and desperation, the cord that was tying you to their chaos begins to loosen. They are sensing this distance, but it's not a cold distance, it's an elevated one. They are reaching out into the ether, expecting to feel that familiar, accommodating, soft Virgo energy waiting to catch them, and instead they are meeting this solid, impenetrable wall of self-respect. It's confusing them, but more than that, it's fascinating them. They are suddenly hyper-aware of your absence because your presence is no longer something they can take for granted. This is where the dynamic completely flips, and I'm not gonna lie, it is so satisfying to witness. For so long, you were the one doing the emotional heavy lifting, trying to bridge the gap, trying to make them understand your worth. But now, the universe has put you in the position of the observer, and they are the ones scrambling to figure you out. They are wondering what changed. They are wondering who gave you this new sense of peace. They are comparing the way you carry yourself now to the way you used to bend over backward for them, and the contrast is driving them absolutely crazy. Your glow up isn't just physical or superficial. It's a soul-level upgrade, and it is acting like a massive magnet pulling their attention right back to you, whether they want to admit it or not. Spirit is literally showing me the Hermit card right now, and it makes so much sense for you, Virgo. The Hermit is your natural archetype. You went inward. You took that time of silence and isolation not to punish them, but to find yourself. You did the deep, introspective shadow work. You asked yourself the hard questions. Why did I accept crumbs? Why did I abandon myself to keep someone else comfortable? You sat in the dark with your own thoughts until you found your own inner light. And because you did that work, you are no longer looking for someone else to complete you or validate you. You found your own answers. That Hermit energy was necessary, but you didn't stay in that cave forever. You have now evolved into the High Priestess energy. Feel that shift. The High Priestess doesn't chase. The High Priestess doesn't beg for clarity. The High Priestess knows you have tapped into such a deep, intuitive well of knowledge about this connection. You don't need to ask the universe for signs anymore. Because you are the sign, you can feel their energy shifting toward you. And instead of reacting with anxious excitement, you are holding space with divine neutrality. You are trusting divine timing. You understand that what is meant for you will not pass you by, and what is left was simply making room for your elevation. This intuitive certainty is incredibly powerful, and it's exactly what is disrupting their entire reality. They are used to you being in your head overthinking. They are not prepared for you being in your spirit just knowing. And then, layered right on top of that, I'm seeing the Queen of Swords. Oh, this is beautiful. The Queen of Swords has been through the fire, and she has the scars to prove it, but she is not bitter, she is brilliantly clear. You have established boundaries that are sharp, fair, and non-negotiable. You have cut through the illusion of what you thought this relationship was, and you are looking at the cold, hard truth of how you were treated. This energy is incredibly attractive, but I'm going to be honest with you, it is also deeply intimidating to someone who is emotionally immature. They are realizing that the soft, endlessly forgiving Virgo they once knew has been replaced by a woman who values her peace more than she values their potential. You are no longer willing to decode their mixed messages or make excuses for their bad behavior. You see it, you name it, and you protect your energy at all costs. This is the ultimate shadow work being forced upon them right now. Because you refuse to carry their shadows anymore, they have no choice but to face them. The universe is mirroring your newfound self-worth right back at them. They are feeling the exact weight of the silence, the confusion, and the emotional unavailability that they once served to you on a silver platter. It's a karmic echo, Virgo. Every sleepless night you had wondering where you stood, they are now experiencing. Every moment of doubt you felt, they are now swallowing. But here is the beautiful, empowering twist. You are no longer participating in that cycle. You have broken the generational and karmic pattern of accepting less than you deserve. You are standing in your sovereign power, and the sheer force of your self-love is what is going to bring them to their knees. Listen, Virgo, I need to talk to you about what is happening behind the scenes right now, because the watcher and observer dynamic between you two has reached an absolute fever pitch. I'm telling you, this person is watching you, even if there has been total radio silence, even if you've muted them or they've tried to play it cool. Their eyes are still on you. Spirit is showing me that they are checking your social media, not in an obvious aggressive way, but in those quiet, late night moments when their defenses are down. They are looking at your stories, noticing who you're with, observing the subtle shifts in your mood, and trying to piece together the puzzle of how you're doing so well without them. They might even be subtly probing mutual friends, asking casual, seemingly innocent questions about you, trying to gather intel without revealing how deeply they are actually affected by your absence. And it's not just digital stalking. It's an energetic tether that they cannot sever. You see, when you withdrew your energy, you didn't just remove your physical presence, you removed the emotional regulation you provided for them. For so long, you were the calming force in their storm. Now, every time they feel anxious, every time they face a minor setback, their soul instinctively reaches out for the comfort that only you used to provide, but they hit a wall. Your energy is protected now. They are feeling this massive, magnetic pull toward you, but they are also feeling the sharp, clear boundaries you've put up. It's creating this intense inner conflict within them. They are fascinated by your glow up, but they are also deeply intimidated by it. They don't know how to approach this new, elevated version of you, and that uncertainty is paralyzing them. But here is where we need to address the external drama, because Spirit is showing me some very specific interference that has been clouding this connection. I'm seeing the Seven of Swords paired with the Moon card. This tells me that when you initially pulled back, this person didn't handle it with maturity. Instead of facing their feelings, their ego kicked into overdrive. They tried to distract themselves. There is karmic distraction here, Virgo. This could be a third party, a superficial rebound, someone they tried to use to fill the void you left, or it could be an overwhelming focus on work, family drama, or external chaos that they used as an excuse to avoid dealing with their emotions regarding you. They tried to convince themselves, and maybe even others, that they were fine and that they had moved on. They put on a mask of indifference to protect their fragile pride. However, I need you to hear this clearly: that interference is crumbling. It is failing miserably. The universe does not allow fake energy to sustain itself when a true soul connection is at stake. That third party, or that external distraction, is completely hollow. It lacks the depth, the intellectual stimulation, and the profound emotional safety that you brought to the table. They are sitting across from someone else, or buried in their own drama, and all they can think about is how effortlessly you understood them. The distraction isn't healing them. It is acting as a glaring spotlight, highlighting exactly what they lost. Every superficial conversation they have now just reminds them of the deep, meaningful talks they used to have with you. The grass wasn't greener on the other side. Virgo, it was just artificial turf, and now it's dying. This is a major emotional turning point for them, and honestly, it's a little bit of karmic justice. They are realizing that their ego wrote checks that their heart couldn't cash. They tried to play games. They tried to make you jealous or make you feel replaceable. But the joke is entirely on them. The more they try to lean into this external interference, the more exhausted and empty they feel. The smokescreen is lifting. The mutual friends are probably starting to notice their mood shifts, seeing right through their "I'm over it" facade. The universe is actively dismantling these distractions, stripping away their excuses, and leaving them alone in a quiet room with nothing but their own thoughts and the heavy, undeniable truth of their regret. And let's talk about that pride for a second, because it is the final wall standing between you and their next move. They want to reach out, oh, they want to so badly. They have drafted messages in their head 100 times. They have picked up their phone, typed out an apology or a casual, hey, and then deleted it. Why? Because they are terrified of your new energy. They remember how you used to be the Virgo who would immediately forgive, who would over-explain, who would soothe their ego even when they hurt you. But they sense that if they reach out now with a half-hearted, low-effort message, you will see right through it. Your Queen of Swords energy will cut them down to size, and their ego is desperately trying to protect them from that potential rejection. They are caught in a standoff with themselves, battling their own fear of vulnerability. But here is the beautiful, empowering truth for you, Virgo. Their internal battle is not your responsibility to fix. You do not need to lower your vibration to make them feel comfortable enough to approach you. The fact that this external drama is weakening and their distractions are failing is proof that the universe is clearing the path. The obstacles are being removed, not by your effort, but by divine timing. You are being asked to simply hold your ground, maintain your peace, and trust that the truth of your worth is echoing so loudly in their spirit that they will have no choice but to face it. The interference is just the final, desperate gasp of an old toxic cycle before it completely collapses. You have done the work, you have held your boundaries. You have allowed the external noise to fade so you could hear your own intuition. And now, as this karmic distraction dissolves into nothingness, they are being forced to look at the empty space you left behind. They are realizing that no one else can love them the way you did, with that meticulous, devoted, all-encompassing Virgo love. The stage is being set, the illusions are shattering, and the realization is about to hit them like a freight train. Continue to Chapter 4, Virgo. Listen to me closely, because what I am about to tell you is the absolute, unvarnished truth of their current reality, and I need you to let this settle deep into your bones. We are moving past the surface level missing you phase. We are now in the realm of profound soul level realization. This person is actively, relentlessly comparing everything and everyone to you. Every conversation they have, every interaction they attempt with someone new, it all falls painfully flat. Why? Because you set a blueprint of love, loyalty, and emotional safety that they are now realizing is incredibly rare. They are sitting there, looking at the hollow interactions in their life, and a heavy, undeniable truth is crashing over them. They mishandled a sacred connection. I'm not gonna lie, Spirit is showing me the Tower card right now, and it is so vivid, for months. This person built a false narrative in their mind. Their ego convinced them that they were fine, that they were independent, that your intense, meticulous Virgo care was maybe a little too much, or that they needed space to find themselves. They built a little fortress out of pride and avoidance. But the tower is the universe's way of striking down false foundations. That tower has completely collapsed. The realization didn't come as a gentle whisper. It hit them like a freight train. They are sitting in the rubble of their own making, looking around and suddenly seeing the situation with brutal, painful clarity. They see now that the space they wanted was actually a prison of their own emotional immaturity. They are remembering the specific, beautiful details of how you loved them. As a Virgo, your love is in the details. You remembered how they took their coffee. You noticed when their mood shifted before they even said a word. You offered practical solutions when they were overwhelmed. And you held a safe, non-judgmental space for their vulnerabilities. At the time, they might have taken that for granted, or even felt slightly suffocated by how deeply you saw them. But now that absence is a gaping wound, they are realizing that your nagging was actually profound protection. Your questions were not control, they were care. They are grieving the loss of the one person who actually took the time to truly understand the complex, messy layers of their soul. And this brings us to the energy of the judgment card. Feel the weight of this. Judgment is not about punishment. It is about awakening. It is the trumpet call that forces a soul to look at its past actions with absolute honesty and take responsibility. This person is in their judgment phase right now. They are replaying the timeline of your relationship in their head. But this time, they aren't viewing it through the lens of their own wounded ego. They are viewing it through the lens of truth. They are feeling a deep, visceral sense of remorse for the times they made you feel unseen, for the times they withdrew when you needed them most, for the times they let their fear dictate their actions instead of their love. They know, deep down, that they broke something precious. They know they had a diamond in their hands and they treated it like ordinary glass. And honestly, that shame is a powerful catalyst. It's stripping away their last defenses. They are no longer trying to justify their behavior to themselves. The internal monologue has shifted from "I needed space" to "I was a fool to let them go." This is a massive emotional turning point, Virgo, because regret rooted in ego is temporary, but regret rooted in genuine spiritual awakening is permanent. They cannot you and know this truth. The veil has been lifted, and they see your worth in high definition. But here is the most beautiful part of the spiritual sequence. After the tower falls, and the awakening of judgment occurs, the universe offers the star, and Virgo, you are the star in this dynamic right now. The star represents hope, healing, divine guidance, and serene, untouchable beauty. After the chaos of their own making, they are looking up at you from a place of deep humility. You have become this radiant, distant, healing light in their sky. They are yearning for even a drop of your grace, a single ounce of the warmth you used to freely give. However, the star also teaches a crucial lesson: you cannot force the water to flow. The star's energy is about trusting divine timing and allowing healing to happen naturally. You are no longer rushing to pour your water into their cup. You are standing on your own shore, glowing in your own truth, letting them navigate their own healing journey. They see that you are the ultimate source of peace they've been searching for, but they also sense that they have to do the work to elevate themselves to meet you. They are realizing that they cannot just casually stroll back into your life and pick up where they left off. The star demands authenticity. It demands that they show up healed, humble, and ready to honor the sacredness of the bond. This realization is changing their entire internal landscape. They are no longer looking at you as an option, they are looking at you as the standard. They are comparing the silence they feel now to the symphony of love you provided, and the contrast is agonizing for them. They are beginning to understand that the emotional safety you brought was not a given, it was a gift, and they are desperately wishing they had treated it with the reverence it deserved. You didn't have to say a single word to teach them this lesson. Virgo, your absence, your boundaries, and your commitment to your own healing did all the teaching for you. You held up a mirror to their soul, and for the first time, they are truly looking at their reflection. They see the mess they made, they see the beautiful person they pushed away, and they are finally, fully waking up to the magnitude of what is at stake. The foundation of their regret is solid, and it is paving the way for the next undeniable movement in this connection. Virgo, listen to me closely, because all of this internal realization, this heavy, crushing weight of regret we just talked about, it has a shelf life, and their soul knows it. They cannot sit in the rubble of the tower forever. The energy has built up to a boiling point, and I am telling you right now, the dam is about to break. We are moving from the internal phase of their awakening into the external phase of action. Spirit is showing me that a genuine, tangible movement from them is imminent in this August window. But I need you to understand exactly how and why this is happening, because this is not the same old cycle repeating itself. I'm seeing the Knight of Cups energy emerging, but I want you to really pay attention to the nuance here. In the past, this person might have approached you with the reverse Knight of Cups energy moody, emotionally manipulative, offering you a cup that was half empty or filled with unrealistic promises. But the energy I am picking up on now is the Knight of Cups turning upright. This is someone who has been humbled. They are no longer riding in on a high horse of pride. They are approaching you with a sense of reverence, vulnerability, and a genuine desire to make amends. They are finally ready to offer you the cup with both hands, acknowledging that they were the one who dropped it in the first place. And paired with this, Spirit is flashing the Ace of Swords. This is so important. The Ace of Swords is the energy of absolute clarity, truth-telling, and cutting through the illusion. This means their next move will not be a vague, low-effort breadcrumb. It won't be a random, late night, hey, or a cryptic meme meant to test the waters. No. Virgo, the Ace of Swords tells me that when they reach out, it will be direct. It will be intentional. They are going to try to bridge the gap with actual words. This could manifest as a long, thoughtful text message where they finally articulate what went wrong. It could be a voice note where you can actually hear the sincerity, and maybe even a slight crack in their voice, betraying how nervous they are. Or it could be a direct request for a face to face conversation to clear the air and apologize properly. I'm not gonna lie, when this movement happens, your body is going to know before your mind does. You might feel a sudden flutter in your chest, a shift in the atmosphere of your room, or a random, vivid thought of them popping into your head out of nowhere. That is the energetic cord pinging. That is the universe giving you a heads up. But here is where I need you to be so careful. Your old Virgo trauma response is going to want to jump into action. Your instinct will be to immediately soothe their guilt, to overanalyze their message, to start planning how you can fix the dynamic and make them feel comfortable again. Stop. Take a deep breath. You are not that person anymore. Remember the High Priestess and Queen of Swords energy we claimed in Chapter 2? You have to stay in that frequency. When they make this move, your power lies in your pause. You do not have to reply in 3 seconds. You do not have to carry the emotional labor of making their apology easy for them. Let them sit in the vulnerability of having reached out. Let them feel the weight of their own words. You are simply the observer now. You receive their energy. You evaluate it with your sharp, clear boundaries, and you decide if it truly aligns with the peace you have worked so hard to cultivate. This is the ultimate test of your glow-up, Virgo. Can you hold your ground when the very thing you used to pray for is finally standing at your door? Because, I promise you, this movement is coming from a deeply changed internal state within them. They are not reaching out because they are bored, or lonely on a Friday night, or because their ego needs a quick validation fix. They are reaching out because the absence of your energy has fundamentally altered their reality. They have tried to fill the void, and they have failed. They have looked at the mirror, and they hate the person they became when they took you for granted. This outreach is their soul's desperate, authentic attempt to course correct before they lose you to the universe permanently. They are going to confess things. They are going to admit that they were scared of how deep the connection was. They might even admit that they pushed you away precisely because your love felt too real, too stabilizing, and it forced them to confront their own insecurities. They are going to try to explain their silence, not as an excuse, but as a confession of their own emotional immaturity at the time. And honestly, hearing them finally vocalize the truth that you already knew in your spirit is going to feel like a massive release of pressure. It is the closure you didn't even know you were still holding onto. But remember, an apology is just an opening of a door. It is not an invitation to move back into the house. You get to decide if they have earned the right to step across the threshold. You get to set the terms. If they want to rebuild, they need to know that the foundation has to be completely different this time. No more games. No more silent treatments. No more taking your devotion for granted. The Ace of Swords cuts both ways. It gives them the clarity to speak their truth, but it gives you the clarity to see if their actions will ever match their words. So, as we move into this final stretch of this reading, I want you to feel a profound sense of relief. The waiting is almost over. The karmic wheel has turned, and the universe is delivering the acknowledgement you always deserved. You didn't have to beg for it. You didn't have to shrink yourself to get it. You simply had to choose yourself, and in doing so, you forced the entire dynamic to rise to your level. They are coming, Virgo, and this time they are coming with their eyes wide open. Virgo, listen to me as we step into this final, beautiful space of this reading, because I need you to truly absorb the reassurance that the universe is sending directly to your heart right now. We have walked through the fire of your past wounds. We have acknowledged the deep, exhausting labor you put into that connection, and we have witnessed the absolute collapse of their ego and the dawn of their profound realization. And now, I am here to tell you, with absolute spiritual certainty, that the cycle has officially shifted in your favor. The hardest part is over. The waiting, the wondering, the late night overthinking that season has officially closed its doors. I'm not gonna lie, the journey to get to this point of detachment was not easy. It required you to break your own heart a little bit in order to save your soul. It required you to choose your own peace over the illusion of their potential. But Spirit is showing me the World card right now, and it is glowing with such vibrant, triumphant energy. The world represents completion, wholeness, and the successful end of a major karmic cycle. You have completed the lesson. You have graduated from the classroom of trying to prove your worth to someone who who was committed to misunderstanding you. You are stepping into a new elevated reality where you are no longer defined by their absence, but by your own profound, unshakable presence. And I want to remind you of something you already know. Deep down in your bones, your intuition was right all along. You felt this shift coming before it even happened. Your Virgo intuition, that sharp, analytical, deeply spiritual inner compass, has been whispering this truth to you for weeks. You knew that pulling back was the right move, even when your heart was screaming in protest. You knew that your silence was more powerful than any argument you could have ever had. Trust that inner voice now more than ever. If your spirit is telling you to hold your ground, hold it. If your intuition is telling you to take things slowly when they finally do reach out, listen to it. You are the ultimate gatekeeper of your energy, and you have earned the right to protect your peace at all costs. As this person makes their move, and remember, the energy is heavily pointing toward a sincere, clarity-driven attempt to reconnect, an apology, or a genuine offer to rebuild. You do not have to rush to fix it for them. This is the ultimate test of your new magnetic energy. When they come forward with their vulnerability, your power lies in your calm, measured response. You don't have to immediately soothe their guilt. You don't have to write a paragraph explaining your feelings to make them comfortable. You can simply receive their energy, acknowledge it, and take all the time you need to observe if their actions will truly match their words. Reconciliation, if it is in your highest path, will not look like a desperate scramble to go back to how things were. No, Virgo. It will look like a completely new foundation being built from the ground up. It will require them to consistently show up, to communicate with transparency, and to honor the boundaries you have so bravely set. And if they cannot meet you at that elevated level, then the universe is simply protecting you from a regression, making space for the divine alignment that is actually meant for you. Either way, you winches because you are no longer willing to settle for a love that requires you to shrink yourself. You have become the prize. Let that sink. Inches you are not chasing, you are attracting. You are not begging for clarity, you are embodying it. The person who is regretting hurting you is regretting it because they finally see the rare, meticulous, deeply devoted, and fiercely loyal love that you possess. They see that they had a once-in-a-lifetime connection, and they mishandled it. That realization is theirs to carry, and it is the catalyst for their own spiritual growth. But your growth is no longer tied to their awakening. Your growth is yours alone, and it is beautiful, radiant, and limitless. So, as we close out this August reading, I want you to take a deep, grounding breath. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. Feel the warmth of your own self-love wrapping around you like a protective shield. You are seen, you are validated, and you are so incredibly loved by the universe. The silence that once hurt you has become your greatest strength. The distance that once confused you has become your greatest clarity. You did this, Virgo. You saved yourself. Before you go, I want you to claim this energy. Type "I am the prize" and "I trust my timing" in the comments below to seal this intention into your reality. If this reading resonated with your soul, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. Your engagement helps this energy reach the exact souls who are waiting for their own breakthrough. Protect your peace, trust your intuition, and know that the very best is yet to come. I love you, I believe in you, and I will see you in the next reading.